What's up, guys? I know a lot of you have been waiting for this video. I apologize on my tardiness with this video. I have enlisted some help from the cult. Classy Metal is a cult. I put some fillers out there, sent some requests, invitations, and they were answered. And I am eternally grateful for everyone that stepped up, and joined in and helped me out with this video. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you soon will. I have an excellent cast of creators, just friends that are waiting in the wings to be featured in this video, and I cannot wait to share this stuff with you guys. Before we get into 2026, we got to wrap up 2025. Got me some new teeth. Yeah, I sound a little funny sometimes when I talk, but hey, that smile. And then what else can I say? Metal Devastation Fest. That was probably one of, if not the highlight of my year. I met so many awesome people, got to hang out with so many awesome bands, people, and I am eternally grateful for that as well. Hopefully 2026 has just as big of things in store for us, maybe even better. So that's all. I'm going to quit rambling. We'll watch this intro, and then we'll jump into my favorite albums of 2025.
Let these wounds forever mark your cowardice.
Alright, you guys ready to jump into this list with me? Before I get into the actual albums, I have 3 EP/demos that I want to share with you guys that really stuck with me throughout the year and that definitely deserve a spotlight. I kind of slacked on the videos, so definitely wanted these to get mentioned on a video here on the channel. Everything that I show on my list is stuff that I own on a physical format. You guys know that I'm a huge advocate for physical media, so something is missing from my list. There is a chance that I just don't own it on physical media, or maybe I didn't like it as much as you did. A lot of you that have followed this channel for any amount of time probably already know that my list tends to be a little bit different sometimes than other people's, but it just is what it is. I mean, I have my own personal taste. I have my love for physical media, and that's what you guys are going to get on this video. First up, man, we have some death metal out of Georgia. This is Necro Tyrant, and looking at that EP art right there, you're going to think maybe that this is some blackened death metal or possibly even black metal. Absolutely not. This is undead death metal. I mean, it is just chunky, filthy, nasty stuff. I absolutely love this. Hope you guys take a moment to check it out. Fungus Among Us, track number 4 on this, was absolutely phenomenal. There's the inside. They're hand numbered. This is 20 out of 50. Definitely check out Necro Tyrant. I think it got overlooked by a lot of people in the death metal scene, but not me. I absolutely love this. Found it on Bandcamp, and it's been in steady rotation ever since. Next up, we have some black metal. This is Nivius with Endless Snowfall. Very fitting release for right now. It is snowpocalypse going on outside, and this is a fantastic soundtrack for that. The title track of Endless Snowfall, definitely recommend that one. Glacial Kingdom, Frozen Utopia, track number 2. There's 2 tracks on each side of this tape. If you're into winter lore-esque type of black metal, I think you'll dig this. This has 2 ex-members of Winter Lore in the project. 3-person project out of Utah. Absolutely phenomenal release. Released on Transylvanian recordings earlier in the year. Fantastic release there. Definitely check that one out. And then I have a CD. This is the Vampiric Supremacy Demo 1 from Unholy Hunger out of Memphis, Tennessee. Fantastic release on Prolapsed Mind Productions. Has a huge typo negative influence going in. Maybe like the earlier Slow, Deep, and Hard, even tying into some moments on Bloody Kisses type influence from typo negative. I feel some My Dying Bride. I feel some Moonspell. It even has like that regional flair that it almost has like an Evil Elvis kind of kind of hit in the vocals on this. Midnight Hearts is a great one. Fright Night, that track gets stuck in my head all the time. There's 5 tracks on this EP, and I absolutely love all of them. I hope you guys take a moment to check out Unholy Hunger. I think you will enjoy it as much as I do. So that's my spiel about my list. That's my 3 demos that I want you guys to check out. Now let's jump into album number 25 on the list. At number 25, we have what I can only describe as a towering, melancholic, traditional doom / death metal release. This is Theurgion with All Under Heaven. This was put out on Profound Lore Records early part of August, if my memory serves me correct. Fantastic release, super heavy at times. There are 3 instrumental tracks on this that are just as good as the long doomy death metal tracks. The instrumentals all clock in around 2, maybe 3 minutes, but they kind of break up the material on the 4 full tracks, and it just, the construction of this album is just brilliant. Definitely check this one out if you have not heard it. If you're into doom death, if you're into traditional doom, if you're into death metal, this definitely has something that it can offer you, and I highly recommend it. So number 25, definitely check this one out. At number 24, had to break out a cassette tape. Actually won this in a giveaway from Melanie Loves Death Metal earlier in the year. She had a giveaway on her Instagram, and I was lucky enough to walk away with this and another album that will be shown later on the list. But fantastic release here. This is the self-titled from Corpus Opal. This band was born through from the ashes of cerebral rot, and you can just hear the sound, that sort of classic kind of cerebral rot sound, just pulsing through the veins of Corpus Opal. They had a demo that came out prior to this that was pretty good, but this debut album is an absolute neck breaker. Loved it. It will snap your neck completely off. Released through $20 spin. First part of the year, I think back in March of 2025. So if you have not heard this, or if you were late to the game on it like I was, shame on you, shame on me. Definitely check out Corpus Opal. You will not be disappointed. I promise. At number 23, it's time to break out a vinyl record. I got one of the heavier releases that I personally found this year. This is The Hated with Death Effects. This came out back in August, self-released to the band. Killer release. Blends in styles of death metal, deathcore, new metal. I know that might be off-putting to some people, but don't take it from me how good this album is. I have a buddy standing by right now to tell you how good this is. Rias, take this away.
What's up, y'all? It's Lunar Blood Reviews here. Thanks, Lonnie, for having me collab along with all of these other amazing people. I wanted to talk about an album on Lonnie's list that definitely is on mine now. As of recording this, I've already done my album of the year list, and unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to spend with this masterpiece of just utterly brutal, disgusting, heavy death metal that definitely almost at times reminds me of a little bit of like Suffocation. Of course, you got the obvious influences, but these guys are just in a league of their own, if you ask me. There's so much going on in this, and it just flies by. It does not feel like I'm listening to a full album. It feels like I'm just listening to the perfect song. This album is like the perfect runtime, if you ask me. There's a lot of chugging, a lot of brutal fucking vocals as always, and the drums. Oh my god, the drums, guys! This absolutely slays. Thanks again, Lonnie. Shine on.
At number 22, I hate the term guilty pleasure, but this is one of those albums that generally I had every reason to not even want to hear. I figured I was going to hate it upon first listen, and I absolutely fell in love with this release. It just happens like that sometimes. I'm talking about the newest release from the band Agriculture. This is entitled The Spiritual Sound. This was released through the Flenser back in October, and I had every reason to. I mean, okay, this is like the epitome of hipster post black metal. It's noisy. It's artsy fartsy. It's. I mean, there's. I don't know. I wanted to hate this. I tried to hate this. I wanted to make myself hate this, and I absolutely fell in love with this album. I know that might make some people kind of cringe out there, but I don't care. I love it. I think some of you guys will love this too. Don't judge me too hard because it is a absolutely amazing release, and I hope you take the time to check it out if you have not done so already. So yeah, this is Agriculture with the Spiritual Sound. All right, guys, I have to face facts. I'm getting old. I don't get excited about albums coming out that often anymore. I mean, there's stuff coming out that I look forward to, but this is one of those albums that I was actually excited when I saw that it was being released. This is Guts with Nightmare Fuel. Finished death metal done to absolute perfection. I want to tell you guys so much about this album and how much I love this album, but I have two people that jumped in on this that wanted to also tell you what a great album this is. First up, we're going to go across the pond to my buddy Mark at the Bowels of Retribution and see what he has to say about Guts, Nightmare Fuel.
Nightmare Fuel, the second full-length release, put out on Morbid Chapel Records by the five-piece Finnish death metal band Guts. Superb sounding old school death metal with a bit of a thrashiness to their riffing style. I mean, you can hear it a little bit in the background there. There's a wah pedal on the bass. These guys just take it back to the old school sound. There's no blast beats in this. This is just chugging, riffy, meaty death metal. And a great choice by Lonnie. My name's Mark. I am from the channel The Bowels of Retribution. Please go and check my channel out if you want to hear about filthy, dirty and horrible death metal. Well, this is Nightmare Fuel by Guts from Finland.
Thanks, Mark. And if that didn't sell you on it, I have a real life Viking, not just any Viking, a metal Viking that came to tell you guys just how good Guts Nightmare Fuel is. So check out what Ryan's got to say.
Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here. If you love what my buddy, the classy one Lonnie does, then come check out my channel as well. I do collection updates just like Lonnie, but I also do album reviews and things like that. So yeah, if you're interested, come check out my channel as well. I did take a break for a good portion of the last year, just kind of got a little burnt out, I guess. But I thought no better way to get myself kind of back into the game in 2026 than to talk about an album from the Classy One's year-end list that I also found to be very killer. It may not have made my year-end list, but it is still a killer album worth checking out nonetheless, and that is the newest one from Guts entitled Nightmare Fuel. And yeah, killer album. This is the second full-length album from this Finnish death metal horde. These guys have been around since 2020. I've been a big fan since their debut in 2023 with entitled Decay. Yeah, this thing is just absolutely savage. It's just got this nice HM2 style guitar tone to it. It really gives things a nice bloodbath feel. You could also even kind of almost compared to Valenfire, the project of Gregor McIntosh from Paradise Lost. But yeah, I got some nice thick tone bass, great drum work, absolutely killer vocals, really powerful mid-range growls and roars. This thing's just chock full of heavy as fuck riffs, nice head-bangable grooves, and like I said, some killer vocals. Yeah, really solid album. Like I said, did not make my year-end list, but it is a killer album nonetheless. And honestly, looking at Lonnie's list here, there are some absolute bangers on here. Yeah, go check out the new Guts album. Like I said, check out my channel as well. And I'm going to throw it back to the classy one. We'll see what else he's got in store for you guys. And until next time, stay brutal.
At number 20, we have some self-described dark, low-tuned, violent Texas death metal. This is Terror Corpse with their full-length entitled Ash Eclipses Flesh. I think a lot of people haven't let this one simmer long enough. This is just filthy, heavy stuff. It came out in November on Dark Descent Records. I think a lot of people did their list early, a little too early, because there's usually some killer releases that get dropped at the end of the year, and people just don't have time to let those simmer, or sometimes the newer releases overtake some of the older releases, and you're just on that high of hearing something new. Man, this one, I love this. I absolutely love this. Had I had more time to spend with this probably would have climbed up my list even higher. But as I said, it's just dark, violent, dirty Texas death metal. Definitely check out Terror Corpse. At number 19, we have the band that delivered, without a doubt, the heaviest live set that I saw all year long. This is Larcenia Row with their latest full-length entitled Extraction. This was released back in May through Unique Leader Records. Came out at a perfect time for me because it was right when I had all of my teeth pulled and had the surgery on my mouth, and I was on my pain medicine, and I was jamming out to Larcenia Row, and it was absolutely just a perfect timing of a release for me. Don't take it from me, though. I brought in the Defiler to tell you guys just how heavy this band is and shed I don't like to say shed light. He's going to shed some dark on how good this release is. Cody, take it away.
How's it going, everybody? It's Cody Gray of Defiler of the Crown Art, Defiler Magazine, as well as Tracks of the Down podcast. Lonnie is putting together his top 25 list, and of that top 25, I had to pick Larcenia Row's Extraction. Got to see these guys play live at Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest. They absolutely vibrated the amps off the place. Definitely worth checking out. I recommend the song Carolina Crowd Killer. It's definitely going to get your fucking adrenaline going.
At number 18, you can hear my dogs in the background. They're excited about this one. We have Volnificus with Inclination, released October 10th through Comatose Music. Brutal death metal that I knew was going to be good because I've heard their previous materials, but I had no idea it was going to be this good. We've got Bulldog all the way from New York that wants to join in and tell you a little bit about this album. Take it away, Bulldog.
Hey everybody, it's the Bulldog, Mr. Metalhead Warrior in New York, coming back at you. How you guys doing out there? Hey, listen, I'm gonna hop on. My man Lonnie, or Classic Lonnie Metal, is doing a little cameo thing on his channel, so I figured I'd throw my thing at him. If you guys don't know me, they call me the Bulldog. I have a YouTube channel, Mr. Metalhead Warrior in New York, right there. You click on that QR code, it'll take you straight to your channel, or to my channel, and also to my Instagram under the same name, Mr. Metalhead Warrior in New York. To get a little lowdown about me, I've been doing YouTube maybe for maybe just over a year and a half now. Basically, breakdowns, discographies, new releases, older releases, news, upcoming releases, things like that. I'm working on doing some collabs, some interviews. Also working on doing some going to shows to film them and throw them up here. Also working on doing some going to like expos and vinyl expos and things like that. So check out my channel. Hope you like it. Been a metalhead for well over 45 years now. As you can tell, I'm surrounded by it. But Mr. Metalhead Warrior, New York, right there. Everaristo 1974. You get the shirts at on eBay. Everaristo 1974. Again, if you click on that QR code, it'll take you right to my channel, and it'll give you the links for eBay and also my Instagram. I'm getting back onto doing my threads also. But enough with that. I want to talk about an album that just came out this year. If you guys haven't heard this record, go get it. Volnificus with their debut Inclination, nasty death metal, some doom, some grind. These guys are from I want to say Indiana. I think they're now they relocated to Pennsylvania. Definitely must check them out. They have 3 EPs out. 2021 nomination, I think it's called. Invocation came out 2022, and their last one, Inextricable, came out 2023. Killer band. When I heard this record was coming out this year, I couldn't wait for it to come out. It came out in October. Nasty death metal. If you're into Suffocation, Incantation, Cannibal Corpse, Immolation, anything along that line, any grimy, nasty, check this guy's out. The first track, Bacteria Backlash, starts off like real slow, sinister, almost like a stalking type sound, and then it just rips into the next track. In Insurmountable Insurrection, nasty dissonant sound, sinister at times. Production on this record is absolutely perfect. Songs flow perfectly, plays perfectly, sound great. They have some ugly hooks, some breakdowns. It could be going 1,000 miles an hour and it just drops. I like what these guys are doing. I look forward to seeing these guys come out in the future with some stuff, see if they can go further. Check these guys out. It came out on Comatose Music. Inclination's album, Volnificus is the band. Check these guys out. You will not be disappointed. Killer tracks top to bottom. This is probably my top album of the year, without a doubt. Sorry about the glare. Right there. Volnificus. Check these guys out. A must. Inclination is the album. Pick it up. Again, I'm the Bulldog, Mr. Metalhead Warrior in New York. Check out my channel. Support Lonnie. Also, he's a cool dude. There's the QR code. Click on that. Check out my channel and my Instagram. And I'll see you on the flip side. Stay hot, stay metal, stay brutal. Keep it metal. I'm out.
Riding in at number 17, we have Executionist with their independently released album Sacrament of the Sick that was put out back in May of this year. They are a blend of death metal and thrash metal with a heavy emphasis on the thrash side of things. I first heard this band through a Metal Devastation radio, Metal Devastation PR type deal, and I was blown away. I think I picked this up on a Bandcamp Friday. Executionist, man, they're absolutely killing it. This is their debut full length. They had an EP and a couple singles that came out before this, but I was absolutely stunned the first time I heard this, and it's been on a steady rotation throughout the year. I don't generally get into the thrash metal side of things as heavy as other genres, but this is one that's just kind of stuck with me, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Killer band out of West Virginia. Looking forward to hearing some more in the future. I'm along for the ride after this release. Fantastic release from Executionist. Definitely check it out. At number 16, we have the first full length from Mount Pleasant, Michigan's Decadent. This is entitled For Those in Shallow Graves. Killer release put out in the summer from Iron Fortress Records. Absolutely love that label. Have a very special guest here from Instagram to shed some light on this album. If you're on Instagram and you're into death metal, you're definitely familiar with this next guest, but let's see what she has to say.
Hey guys, my name's Izzy. I'm Gorepod on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm in 3 bands. I play guitar, Titanosauria, Cell Block, and Hematomia. Go check that out. We'll have some shit out later. Titanosauria has an album out. If you also like guitar covers, I post guitar covers on Instagram, so go check that out. So I'll be reviewing an album released by Decedent, For Those in Shallow Graves, released August 15th, 2025 on Iron Fortress Records. First and foremost, I want to talk about this album art here on the screen. I love how vibrant it is. I love the artwork. I think we got like a plant thing going on. I love the green little goblins at the top. Anyway, I've noticed from the 23 EP and the 24 EP, it is black and white. So seeing this album cover is pretty sick. Plus with the new logo, I noticed the new logo too. All of it correlates, and I love how they made the logo colored too. That's pretty cool. This album is roughly 37 minutes, maybe a little over, if I'm not mistaken, and it's 9 tracks. Let's just say, right when you click the first song, the intro, you're getting the full catch. I'm telling you, getting the full catch. So back to talking about the artwork. Sometimes I like to look at the album art of albums and kind of determine where they're going with it. And I will say, on this album, it definitely gave me an old school death metal vibe. I am a fan of the caveman death metal stuff, so I think that's why this album is really enjoyable for me. My favorite tracks on this album are definitely Smoked Flesh and Rotted Redeemer. Rotted Redeemer, I love how they start off with a bass line, and that bass is super heavy. It's got weight to it. And then on Smoked Flesh, that specific riff in the beginning, and it kind of carries on into the middle, maybe, if I remember. I love that guitar riff. I love the harmonics that they added. It's just, one more thing I want to include before I wrap this up is guitar tones on this album are beautiful. And the mixing is great. It's awesome. Everything just comes together, you know what I mean? But if you really like that caveman death metal feel, this album is something to check out. It's super underrated. Decedent, For Those in Shallow Graves. Go check it out. I give this album about 9.5 out of 10. It's pretty solid. Go check it out.
At number 15, we have an album that feels like it was named just for me. This is Gaffed with I Can Feel Myself Rot. With all the health problems and arthritis and everything my old ass has been having lately, this album title seems to fit right in. If you're not familiar with Gaffed, they are New Jersey brutal death metal. Originally formed in the 90s, took a long hiatus, and came back in the 2020s. I love Gaffed because they're able to capture that 90s, that mid-90s brutal death metal sound that I love so much, and they absolutely do that on I Can Feel Myself Rot. I first listened to this on my way to Memphis back in April when this was released through CDN Records. I was driving to Memphis to go see a concert, brought a few CDs with me, and this stayed in the CD player the entire duration of the trip. Went to the concert, came out, and I listened to Gaffed on the way home. Just heavy stuff. Perfectly named album title, not just because I feel like I could resonate with it, but you have that kind of self-deprecation feeling going on within this album, and I absolutely love it. If you haven't checked out New Jersey's Gaffed and you're into brutal death metal, you're definitely doing yourself a disservice, because these guys just absolutely kill it, and it's all killer on this album. Definitely check out I Can Feel Myself Rot from Gaffed. At number 14, we have some death metal straight out of Chicago, Illinois that has definitely had some staying power because this was released back in January through Iron Fortress Records. We have Gourd Embrace with In the Presence of a Malevolent Soul. Absolutely phenomenal death metal. I have a special guest to talk about this one that does not need an introduction because Thralls of Metal does YouTube way better than I ever could. So let's just jump over to Nick and see what he has to say about Gourd Embrace.
What's up, everyone? Necrotic Nick here from Thralls Metal, collaborating here on this awesome idea from the classiest of metal channels out here on YouTube, one Classy Lonnie. He asked me and a lot of other YouTubers to actually go over his year-end list and, you know, talk about some albums that he selected. And I thought it was a really cool idea. Plus, I've been looking forward to collaborating with Lonnie in some respect because, I mean, hell, I was probably following him long before we even had a channel. Anyway, my pick to go over from his year-end list is one that we actually shared, and that is Gourd Embrace and their album In the Presence of a Malevolent Soul. Now, I've been following this band since their early demo. I've actually seen them play here in Toledo. We ran into them in Maryland at Maryland Death Fest in 2022. Solid dudes. And I got to hear some of their new material before it even hit. And this is just flat out awesome death metal. Like, this harks back to the 90s. It's got a little bit of like brutal death metal, a little bit of like, you know, that flat out old school Floridian sound. It's a perfect blend of things like suffocation, monstrosity, a little bit of Baphomet, and I don't know, I'd even throw in like some like deicide moments too. It's riffy as hell, tons of groove, a lot of good blast beats. The drum work in here reminds me very much of Mike Smith. And the production itself kind of reminds me a lot of Scott Burns. All things that I love as a long-time death metal fan. As one of our fellow YouTubers, Dreadful Rick over the Dreadful Minute said, this just sounds like home. And that is probably the most accurate way I could describe this. This sounds like old school 90s death metal done right. It's tight. It's catchier than hell. It's not bereft of melody, but it also has a ton of just punchy, mean riffs. If you're a fan, again, of any of the bands that I have mentioned, I strongly recommend this one, and Lonnie strongly recommends this one as well. So that was my pick. Once again, thank you, Lonnie, for allowing us to collaborate with you. If you're not subbed to Lonnie's channel, you should definitely do that. And while you're at it, you can sub to Thralls Metal too. That'd be pretty fucking cool, yeah? But either way, thank you, and on to the next one.
Coming in at number 13, we have some Seattle Death Grind. It's about time some Death Grind hit the list. This is Caustic Wound with their second full-length entitled Grinding Mechanism of Torment. This was released in April through Profound Lore Productions, another Profound Lore album on my end of the year list. This one was so good I had a couple people jump in and want to take part in the video and say a few words about Caustic Wound. First off, we had an overachiever, Rock and Metal Plus, Johnny Mac. He actually picked 3 albums off my list, and he picked 3 good ones because obviously you haven't seen him yet. So let's jump in and see what he has to say about Caustic Wound.
Greetings and salutations. Johnny Mac, Rock and Metal Plus. This is a quick review thing for Lonnie over the Classy Lonnie Metal. His album of the year list. He decided to get a few people to help him out. Reached out to a few of us, so here I am. I'm going to do 3 albums. I said he showed the list of the stuff he was going to include in his year-end list. And I, there's 3 I could probably do. Go for it. So here we go. Right. So first of all, I must say Lonnie's one of the guys that inspired me to take up YouTuber in the first place. So don't forget to pop and see me, sub to my channel, all that usual YouTube bollocks. Right. First up. All 3 of these bands are from the US. I believe these are from Washington. Apologies for the glare. This is Caustic Wound with Grinding Mechanism of Torment. Obviously came out 2025 because all these are. 16 tracks, 28 minutes. If you're thinking, oof, sounds a bit like Death Grind, you'd be spot on, my friend. Yeah, this is awesome. All 3 of these I purchased after seeing other people's year-end lists, so they weren't included on mine, so they just come in the last week or so. So I've only blasted them a few times. I was listening to this just before I started doing this again, just to get myself back into it. But it's grindcore, you know what you're gonna get. It's awesome. Sounds like early 90s death metal, grindcore. If you like this album, yes, it's an original press of Carcass's The Putrefaction. If you like this, then you're gonna like this bad boy. There you go, that's that. Absolutely.
Alright, so sorry Johnny Mac, I gotta cut you off right there. I can't have you jumping in and spoiling the next couple albums on the list yet. I still have some other people that want to talk, so, but we'll get back to you in just a minute, Johnny Mac. Next up we have DC from Death Rock Magazine, who wanted to share his thoughts on Caustic Wound as well. Does a really good job just talking about how nasty of an album this is. So, DC, take it away.
Lonnie, DC here from Death Rock Magazine. Caustic Wound, Grinding Mechanism of Torment. That is the one that I decided that it's my favorite of last year. Corpus Awful was very close, very close. But, you know, like a couple years ago, I discovered Undergang. And the sound is like sewage, all right, coming out of the speakers. The next year I found Miasmatic Necrosis. These bands, it's like one or two bands a year come out with this ooze of a guitar and bass tone. They're tuned to Z. No, nothing lower. I mean, you could computerize, tune it lower, but there's nothing lower. And Caustic Wound has put in the most groove that you could imagine in this sort of music. I mean, you think it might be like old school Death, Undergang. They're on that side of it, where it's like, you know, the old school meat and potatoes. Miasmatic Necrosis, they're on the grindcore side of it. Grind death, absolutely tons of groove in their music, but Caustic Wound has found the middle ground between these two, and they have an amazing amount of groove, and it's tuned low. The vocals are inhumanly low. If you like the most heaviest sounds that you can think of, go with Caustic Wound, Grinding Mechanism of Torment. That was my choice. All right, thank you very much for having me on there, Lonnie. I made it quick because I know that you have a bunch of people. I have an album coming out this year in 2026. Our demo is coming out next month. The band is called Chuffed. If you like D-beat, thrash grind, you'll love it. It's coming out on Horror, Pain, Gore, Death Records in February. That's just the demo. Full band has just been assembled, and full album in the summertime. All right, thank you very much, Lonnie. Classy, stay classy, and I won't see you at the auction. See you later.
At number 12, we have another band that I've absolutely fallen in love with this year. We have Sorrell with their Heretics and Lullabies release that was put out in October through Napalm Records. I was fortunate enough this year to share tent space. Sorrell was right next to me, set up at Tennessee Metal Devastation Music Fest, so it was kind of neat to have a band that you really, really enjoy right there next to you while you're handing out merch and stuff. So they put on a killer set as well. I have a couple people that wanted to chime in and talk about Sorrell, just some gothic kind of post-gothic metal, post-metal masterpiece. And first up, we'll go back to Johnny Mac from Rock and Metal Plus and see what he has to say about Sorrell.
Brilliant. Next up, something totally different. I think that was their second full length. I don't know where this comes in there. Discography for the something like the 6th or 7th, I think. Are these guys from Cleveland, I believe? It's called Heretics and Lullabies. I guess you could call it doom-ish. It's doomy, female vocals. A couple of tracks have got some male vocals on it. There's a cover of Summertime Sadness by Lana Del Rey. I mean, nothing to me. Apparently she's a popular singer for the youngsters. Track that you want to listen to, see if you like it or not, Demons. Absolutely brilliant. Whole album's got an easy, unnerving sort of vibe to it. Her vocals are absolutely ethereal, absolutely wonderful. She's got a atmosphere. You stick your headphones on after the shitty day and just can go away. It takes you on another place. But Demons is the track that you just build in. You've got proper guitar sound. It's really coming up. It's might be a little bit of stuff like Tetherball Lie and Ringfinger by Nine Inch Nails. It's got that sort of vibe to it off a Pretty Hate Machine. Demons, it's building, then it stops. You got to break down, and she just whispers in. It sounds like a demonic version of Bjork. She got that whispering voice, and she just says, "I'm a fucking monster," and it's just insane. Wonderful stuff. Thale, gotta see him live. This was my favourite previous Thale album, 1692, based on the Salem Witch Trials, but this is certainly as good as it, I would say. And
Alright, Johnny Mac, I'm sorry, man, I have to interrupt you one more time. I promise the next video you spoke on is actually the next video on my list, so we'll get back to you in just a second so you can finish up your thought process there. But next up, we're still talking about Frail. We have Sam from Incubus TV, who also wanted to chime in and say a few words about Heretics and Lullabies. Sam, take it away.
Hey everybody, this is the Incubus from Incubus TV, and I am here with Lonnie to talk about, some metal albums. That one of them was also on my list, Heretics and Lullabies by Frail. This is atmospheric doom and post-metal about, horror and other stuff, heretical stuff. I love how, atmospheric it is. I love how spooky it is. My favorite tracks are like the Lana Del Rey cover, even though I'm not really a big fan of Lana Del Rey anymore because she's weird as shit. Boo, that's a really good song. Run is like one of the best songs I've ever heard. And Heretics, or Heretic, is one of my favorite tracks on the album. So, yeah, I think that's all I got to say about this album. Thank you again to Lonnie for giving me this opportunity, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Coming in at number 11, we have some knuckle-dragging, dirty Texas death metal. This is Tribal Gaze with their newest full-length entitled In Vain Brilliance, released through Nuclear Blast Records. Congratulations to Tribal Gaze in getting in on the Nuclear Blast deal. Fantastic album here. Gonna let Johnny Mac from Rockin' Metal Plus come in and talk about this last album on his list that we shared together. Absolutely phenomenal release, and I'm pretty sure Johnny Mac feels the same way.
Tribal Gaze with, I can never fucking say this, Unveiling Brilliance, possibly? I don't know. This is wonderful. I don't know what they're putting the water down there in Texas, but Jesus, there's some awesome bands from Texas at the moment. Yeah, lyrics and stuff. There's the band. Yeah, this is just brutal, really good. When it slows down, sounds a bit like your, I don't know, Autopsy, Incantation sort of sound. When it's full on brutal death metal, you get a bit of a Nile vibe to it. There's also some immolation. It's just fucking great. The vocals are nice and horrible. It's got that to it. It's like it's come from a swamp or something. It's just wonderful. I said second album. I didn't get the first one. I'm gonna have to check the rest of the stuff out, but this is awesome. I believe people were a bit worried because they got put on Nuclear Blast that they were gonna lose their edge, but this is fucking just full on. It sounds underground. It sounds just wonderful. So there you go, Tribal Gaze. That's me done. Johnny Mac, Rockin' Metal Plus. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.
At number 10, we have an album that Bindroom Recordings dropped on me in December and disrupted my entire album of the year list. We have Weft with the Splintered Ore. This is some folky, atmospheric black metal out of Texas. We just had some death metal out of Texas, so why not drop some atmospheric black metal on you as well. This album is so good that I have summoned a demon, Azig from the Abyss is here to talk to you about Weft, and he can do a much better job than I can, so let's hear what he has to say.
Hails and horns, everybody, and welcome to Classy Lonnie Metal's Album of the Year list for 2025. All right, well, it's been a long time. A lot of you probably forgot who I am, or maybe you just don't know who I am at all, which is fine. I'm Atzigala from Atzig's Abyss, and my pick off of Classy Lonnie Metal's top 25 list is going to be The Splintered Ore from Weft. I'll try to keep this short and sweet, but it's kind of hard with this album. Where do you begin with Weft's The Splintered Ore? First off, I'm not the biggest fan of most atmospheric black metal. Most of my black metal tastes come from like really raw, aggressive, second wavy, fast, in-your-face black metal. But this one kind of blew me away when I heard it for the first time, and I heard it for the first time going through his list, actually, to see which one I wanted to cover. All right, so The Splintered Ore from Weft. It's a one-man atmospheric black metal project out of Texas. I think a lot of people are going to know, the artist and, the previous projects, things like that. And honestly, I think it's very unfair to pigeonhole this into atmospheric black metal and just call it that. It's got so many elements. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of atmospheric black metal and it's done very well, but you're getting elements of death metal, progressive metal. There's some like really good, almost angelic folky, parts to this album, and even some like Texas country here and there I kind of pick up. Just a really well done, well composed, extremely well written album. The lyrics seem extremely meaningful. So I'm guessing this really came from a really close place to home for the artist. So yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say anything bad about it. Like I said, it just seamlessly transitions from almost completely different genres within each song and then all the way through the album. Yeah, so I mean, with all that going on, it's kind of a hard album to kind of explain quickly, but maybe I'll just kind of dive into my favorite track. And that's kind of like a really good preview for what you get across this whole album. For me, my favorite track was The Hull. And it really does showcase everything on this album. It starts off with almost like this crazy, almost honky-tonk sounding violin run, over kind of a good mid-blast beat, and then it kind of falls into this epic pagan atmospheric, like low-tempo groove. And then that just kind of bleeds into this really deep, low, guttural death metal style vocal, which was done really well, by the way. And then it kind of, eases into some killer, like cavernous black metal vocals. It's just insane how fast this thing weaves into different areas. It changes gears from there, and you get some like droney, clean vocals, like really well done, well mixed, everything like that. And then all of a sudden you get this epic guitar solo, which bleeds into like an epic uptick in tempo, and it just seamlessly interchanges all these styles, like country-esque, folky, pagan sounding styles, low tempo, proggy runs, and then just right back into this really, really great atmospheric black metal sound that gives you everything that you would expect. The blast beats, the cavernous cave effect, everything like that. It really is just a perfect example of this album. Go check out The Hull before, maybe try that if you haven't listened to the album before. It really is a good preview, and just the musicianship and the writing is so good on this record. I am really excited to see what comes from this project in the future. I think I need to get my ass over to Bindrune and check them out. It's been a long time. If stuff like this is kind of their wheelhouse, I think I need to go check it out. Classy, thanks for having me on here. Just a quick ramble about Weft and their new album. Blew me away, so thanks for turning me on to this band. As for me, if you're interested, check me out on my channel, Atzig's Abyss. Relaunching it kind of with this cameo. Got a lot of great things in store. I'm kind of expanding on what my channel used to be. It's not just going to be collection updates and reviews anymore. It's going to have a lot of new material, whether it be live music, things like that. But you can check all that out on my channel. Don't want to take away too much of Lonnie's time. If you're interested in any of the music projects I'm a part of, check out my solo black metal project, Born of Set. And check out the death metal band that I'm in, November Eve.
We'll find you in the light. We'll find you in the night.
Both on Bandcamp. Go check it out. Hope you enjoy. Classy, thanks again for letting me be a part of this. This was a really great idea for your video. Stay classy and hails and horns.
Coming in at number 9, we have some Denver death metal. This is Kronos Compulsion with their debut full-length entitled Lawgiver. I was originally introduced to this band a couple years ago, I think it was, through the demo EP entitled Malicious Regression, put out through Caligari Records. I had no idea this full length was coming this year. It kind of came out of the blue around July or so through Avant-Garde Music and Unorthodox Emanations were the two labels that kind of collectively put this out. I was blown away by this. I enjoyed that EP leading up to this, but man, this one absolutely blew me away. I haven't seen too many people talking about this, but I definitely think it just kind of bypassed a lot of people's radars. If you're into the various, kind of facets of death metal, I think you could get into this. It's not going to be your typical knuckle dragging caveman kind of sound that you kind of get out of Texas. Sometimes you can almost feel the regionality of an album in the release, and this definitely has that kind of Denver, Colorado sound. I can't explain it, but you can definitely hear it on the album. I implore you to go check this one out. You will definitely thank me later. Kronos Compulsion, Lawgiver, fantastic death metal release. All right, coming in at number 8, we have a band that is not only one of my favorite bands on this list, but just one of my favorite bands, period. We have Elderwind with their newest release, Older Than Ancient. It's actually, that's the translation, is Russian. They are a Russian atmospheric black metal band. This came out back in April, and I believe it was independently released from the band. Elderwind is one of those bands that, if you follow my channel any amount of time, you know that I love this band. I could go on and on and on about how much I love this band, but speaking of following my channel from the beginning, I have someone that has been an advocate for me since I started YouTube, and I'm going to hand it over to Bono and let him tell you just how fantastic this Elderwind album is.
Hey, what up guys? Welcome to my entry of Lonnie's 2025 Album of the Year Extravaganza. So, first of all, I am Bono from Good Music Promotions, a little channel here on YouTube. I've been doing it for quite a while right now, I think. What is it, around 10 years or something, so if you want to follow live videos and other stupid stuff, yeah, I guess I'm there. So, but we're here for Lonnie's Extravaganza, and he sent a list with albums that he has listened to and were fit on this amazing end of the year list. So I chose for the Russian atmospheric epic black metal band called Elderwind with Older Than Ancient. So in 2025, this one got released on the 12th of April. And is the fourth full length of the Russian atmospheric black metal band. They have been around since around 2009, 2010. So if you're anything familiar with atmospheric black metal, you've probably seen Elderwind's name pop anywhere around. So basically, the raw raspy vocals are very similar to the style of Caladan Brood, and if you're not familiar with Caladan Brood, you're not listening to the right atmospheric black metal or epic atmospheric black metal albums. I mean bands, but they also have one album out. So okay, so compared to the last album from Elderwind called Fires, Older Than Ancient does have a little bit of a different and a more compact sound. It's not thrown around anywhere. It is very compact, but also within that compactness, it really brings out the whole package as a freaking amazing sound. So the essence of this album is pretty much the same as Fires, but more towards the nature of the world instead of I believe the destruction of the nature of the world from fires. So the overall sound of the album could only be described as captivating and grand and epic. So you can absolutely hear every single experience from the guys through their sound, and that embodies the whole natural flow of the album, which has really captivated me to say the least. The whole band sings in Russian, so that gives it an extra layer of rawness, because the Russian language isn't the most prettiest language around, to say the least. But it fits perfectly in this whole beautiful genre that is atmospheric black metal. So older than ancient feels natural, and it flows very flawlessly without any hiccups. It feels like they just already had it ready and just like, there you go, this is it, this is awesome, listen to it. So they have epic sounding, dragging along riffs and bits from the whole album to a bit more slower, headbangable parts even. And Elderwind will absolutely provide more than just the generic tree and water noises. They layer it perfectly with their style of black metal. So if you're a fan of Sojourner, Caladan Brood, Grima, please go and listen to these guys if you don't know them already. And if you do, amazing that you listen to it. It is a phenomenal album, and hope you guys can check it out. Again, Lonnie, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And hopefully to a lot more videos this year. See you again, buddy. And thank you guys for watching to my bit. Off to the next one. See ya.
At number 7, we have another album that was released back in April of 2025. Apparently, April was a good month for me personally as far as my album of the year list goes. And this is another release off of Profound Lore Records. I did not realize what an impact Profound Lore Records had on my listenings this past year until I started doing this list. So they absolutely killed it. So kudos to you, Profound Lore Records. The album I'm talking about is the debut full-length from Ancient Death entitled Ego Dissolution. Before this album, I'd only heard the EP that came out in 2022 entitled Sacred Vessel. Ego Dissolution exceeded my expectations exponentially. I enjoyed Sacred Vessel, but I loved Ego Dissolution. There's not a whole lot of originality left in death metal as far as I've seen, and this is a band that has their original moments. They have a sound that is just completely theirs, and I absolutely respect that, and I love the way and the direction that they've taken this album. A bit of an esoteric death metal band. They have some psychedelia stuff going on this. Definitely reminiscent at times of that early Blood Incantation. Within this album, the bassist, I believe her name is Jasmine, has interjected herself into the vocal deliveries on some of these tracks as well. It was a nice change of pace. It was definitely a welcome addition to this full length. Absolutely phenomenal. I know I've shown you guys and beat so much death metal down your throat on this list, but this is another one that I have to just beg you to go check out if you have not done so. I think a lot of you watching this will love this just as much as I did. Coming in at number 6, we have another album that was released through Dark Descent Records. Dark Descent is another one of those labels that you can always count on putting out quality material. This is the newest full-length from Phobocosm entitled Gateway. This was a late entry, came out at the end of November. Absolutely fell in love with this on my very first listen. I saw a comment on Bandcamp. I'm just going to read it because I don't want to steal credit from the user that said this, but the Citizens of Gravity said, "You can't see Phobocosm live because they're so heavy that light can't escape the stage." And that's fitting for this album. I could not have said it any better. And speaking of not saying it any better, I have another guest that I want to bring in, another supporter of this channel from the very beginning. I have Mark from Wandering Souls, and he wants to speak to you on Phobocosm.
Hello, Lonnie. How are you guys? Hope you are doing great. Thank you, Lonnie, for giving me this opportunity. I am Mark from the Wandering Souls webzine channel. I've been doing YouTube for a long time, and Lonnie was asking people to give some reviews from say, favorite albums for his year list. So I decided let's hop on and help my friend Lonnie out. He and I are connected for a long time, so I thought let's help him out. Let's do that. The album we are talking about today is the new album from Phobocosm, and it's called Gateway. Fantastic death metal from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This is the band's fourth album in the discography, and I discovered this band when they released about the time they released the first album Deprived in 2014, and this is already the fourth album, follow-up to Foreordained, which was released 2 years prior to this one. Fantastic album as well. This one is a really nice new album. It gets like 7 tracks, and pure dark dissonant death metal, great dissonant riffing, dark atmosphere, kind of murky in places as well. Think like acts like Incantation, swapping around with tempos, being slow and dragging, and then getting to the fast parts and things like that. Especially can be heard in the first track here. Deathless is just that dragging, slow death metal, and here and there some double kicks later in the song to give it more boost, followed by Unbound, which is a more faster song, giving you that blast beat kick, which you are looking for with death metal a lot of times. Fantastic band, people. If you like that, this is fantastic. It also has 3 instrumentals. The third song is one of those, Corridor Part 1, The Affliction. Great interlude, and for Septennial Penance, which is the fourth track on this album. And really worthy banger. Fast tempos, heavy riffs, dark atmosphere once again, and that heavy dark growl. The growl reminds me a bit of Ross Dolan from Immolation. If you like that kind of growl, then you probably will dig this. And then you get another interlude, and then we get the closing lengthy track, which is 8.5 minutes. Pure cool death metal, and then closing off with the third instrumental. Fantastic album overall in general. Definitely for fans of Incantation, Immolation, if you like that. Also with dark vibes, it also reminds me of Ulcerate. Fantastic stuff, people. If you like that kind of stuff, this is definitely a banger for you. Go check it out. Definitely worth owning in your collection. Great 2025 release on Dark Descent Records. Fantastic release. Nonetheless, Lonnie, I know you like this album, so curious to you to put it on the list because I like it, and definitely would encourage other people to enjoy it as well. So thank you all for this opportunity, Lonnie, and thank you all for watching.
Okay, guys, now we're really getting into the meat and potatoes portion of my end of the year list, the top 5, the albums that really just kind of got their hooks in me and held me all year long. We've got another Profound Lore release at number 5. Go figure. This is Tithe with Communion and Anguish. Tithe is a doom, death, grindcore. I mean, it's hard to pin this band down genre-wise, but I am A-okay with that. Actually, they caught my attention in 2023. I believe it was 2023 with their Inverse Rapture release. That one was the one that I was just like, hey, this is a band that I definitely want to keep my finger on the pulse and see what they have coming up. I was not disappointed this past September when this came out. It's absolutely phenomenal. If you're into that kind of, I hate to say death doom because you build up this concept in your mind of what that's going to sound like. There are doomy elements, there are death metal elements, there's death grind elements, there's even like this sludgy grind element to this album that almost is reminiscent of Soylent Green sound. As crazy as that sounds, with the other stuff kind of feeding into the potpourri of sounds that this band is able to put out. But it's a terrifying mix. They're heavy, they're nasty, and they absolutely have no apologies in their material. So definitely go check out Tithe and let me know what you think. At number 4, we'll change directions completely and go to some straight traditional doom metal. This is Marble Orchard with Ruminations of Ruin, released through Morbid and Miserable Records back in March. If we were to solely focus on the amount of time that I listen to an album, this probably would be up there with my number 1. Apparently, this band has been around a while. Early on, they were under the moniker, I believe, of Goat Bong, and then I don't know if they had some lineup changes or what, but they were kind of reincarnated as Marble Orchard. This is their second full length. They had one that came out, I think, in 2022. Not familiar with that one at all. This was my introduction, and I was absolutely floored by this. There is some heavy typo negative influence going on, and you guys know that that's something that I'm going to be all about. I love it when bands are able to draw that influence, and that influence is prevalent and you can see it, but it's not a straight just plagiarism or ripoff of Neon Nightmare. And this fit the bill for me. This band, I want to go back and find some more like their early discography and see what else they have to offer, because if that's the case, man, this is a band that could be a staple in my listening rotations. Fell in love with this album. It's staying out. It came out in March. It's still sitting next to my stereo in steady rotations. Fantastic stuff. If you're into typo, if you're into epic doom metal, check out Marble Orchard. I promise you, you're going to like this album. At number 3, we have what is probably, well, it's no probably to it, what is definitely the most accessible release on my list. It is Night with Cult of the Serpent Sun. Absolutely phenomenal release, kind of blackened heavy metal. You guys know I love Night, and it was no surprise that there were, I think, 3 people that jumped in and wanted to get on board and speak their words on Night. First up, I'm going to send you over to Jeff from Gas Mask and Hand Grenades. Jeff has an amazing channel where he does deep dives, interviews. He really digs in deep and gets into an album and a release. No different on this. He's got a full review for you, so let's see what Jeff has to say.
Hey, headbangers and metal maniacs, Jeff here from Gas Mask and Hand Grenades, and I'm here to do a review for Lonnie's Classy Metal today of the band Night, Cult of the Serpent Sun. What to say about this album, Night. This is their 3rd album, Cult of the Serpent Sun, from San Francisco, out on Season of Mist Records on March 14th. Of 2025. Let's see what to say about this album. Night are kind of like what you get if you take classic Thin Lizzy, think Thunder and Lightning, Chinatown era, add in some King Diamond and Merciful Fate in terms of the dark, riffy, melodic playing and guitar interplay, add in some classic Maiden and Priest, new wave of British heavy metal, late 70s, early 80s, again with the guitar interplay, the melodicism. Maybe throw in a little bit of Hall of the Mountain King, Power of the Night, Sabotage era vibes. That's kind of what you get with Night. They have 2 previous albums out, and this is the 3rd one, and I think it's the most realized vision of the band at this point. I think their songwriting is as good as those first 2 are. It's far better on this album. The only kind of weird thing about this band, I guess, that some people say is a bit of a detractor is the vocals. And I love them, but I can see why they might be a little bit of an oddity for others. I've kind of likened them to, I interviewed these guys back in February of 2025 before the album came out. And I kind of likened Van Labrakis' voice. He's the main writer, he's the main songwriter, singer, lead guitar player. He kind of does it all. Does the recording and mixing and mastering and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of liken his voice to what you would get if you took Lemmy from Motorhead's voice and blackened it up just a little bit. And I want to say, I'm the first guy that said that out there, that I think, at least out on the YouTube sphere, because I saw other reviews later, a few weeks after I did my interview with the guys and brought up that comparison, and everybody was talking about it sounding like Lemmy. So I was first, goddammit. Just kidding. Yeah, man, I'm just going to say this right here. If you aren't sucked in by the hella hypnotic, fist-pumping earworms of these songs, courtesy of the stellar guitar work from Van Labrakis and Scott Hoffman. Sorry, Scott's a friend of mine. I forgot his last name. I can only conclude that either your ears are fucking damaged or your brain is damaged, or one or the other, because I'm just telling you, man, this stuff is just awesome. It is freaking awesome. It is that fist-pumping killer stuff you want to hear. If you love guitars and guitar interplay in the Thin Lizzy, Iron Maiden, even Wishbone Ash, if you want to go way back, because I'm an old dude, you're going to love this album, man, because this is a guitar-gasm album as far as riffs go. Do yourself a favor. Crank this motherfucker super loud and proud in your car when you're ripping down the highway. Don't call me, though, if you get pulled over for speeding. Send the bill to the night, guys. Okay, on to the songs really quick. Opens with Cult of the Serpent Sun. Man, just banging riffs. The ooh, ah, you'll know what I mean when you listen to it. Just killer. We get into the Skull, which is another ripper. Super insistent, mega catchy. We get into the Crow, which is just a fucking banger, man. Those harmony unison dyads suck me in every time. The propulsive skin pounding of Patrick Crawford. Nothing crazy or flashy here in his playing, just super rock solid groove oriented drumming all over this album. The chorus shouts up, "Fear the night." Ah, so good, so good. The Mystic has an almost Kashmir vibe to it. Probably was my least favorite track initially, but I've come around a lot on it. The Lost Blade. Oh, it's just foot stomping. Awesome fucking guitar gasm shit right there. Super black hole sized mega banger that album or that song is. Carry On, another amazing hook on that one. Tar Mud is probably my third favorite song in that. I'm sorry, that's the real Kashmir one, to be honest with you. Mystic is more the prog song. Just super dark, melancholic, just a masterpiece of a song. And then the best for last is The Winds of Sokar. Man, dude, this song, oh my God, it is a riff salad. The solos on it are epically beyond epic. They're just like mega epic. Just like picture that. And finally, man, that kind of wraps it up because I got to keep this concise. I could go on for at least 15 more minutes about this album. Cult of the Serpent Sun, out on Season of Mist, March 14th, 2025. This was my number 3 favorite album of the year of 2025. Only 2 others kind of edged it out. Listen, man, if you dig long, involved deep dives of studio catalog discographies from various different bands, if you dig long, deep dive interviews with some of your favorite artists and metal bands out there, check out Gas Mask and Hand Grenades. Appreciate you. Thanks, Lonnie, for having me. Catch you guys later.
Gas Mask and Hand Grenades. Gas Mask and Grenades.
gas masks and hand grenades.
Thank you, Jeff. Man, you really dug into that album. It's pretty awesome that we both had Night as number 3 on our prospective end of the year list. I actually have 2 more people that want to chime in and give their opinions on Night. So it's going to be a Night overload right here at the number 3 spot, but that's okay because it's a phenomenal album. The next 2 guests that I have, Naomi making her first time appearance, I think, on YouTube, and then Jax. You guys know Jax be the Ripper. I think Philip Anselmo said it best when he said,
When I'm talking about the songs, it's the ladies that love it, god damn it. Are you a lady? No, but I love it too, though. Check it out.
Why, hello there, people of YouTube. So, some of you may know me on Instagram as Freshderoid. Chances are you have never seen me before because the Venn diagram of mine and Lonnie's tastes looks much more like a pair of glasses than it does a monocle. So, hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Naomi, otherwise known as Gnomes, on account of how tall I am, you know, because I'm a giant. The lovely Lonnie asked me very nicely if I might like to feature on his latest video, and of course I was honoured, because this guy knows his stuff. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. You're here for a reason, right? So I was really excited to cameo, appear on the Classy Lonnie Metal channel, because that's, yeah, it's really nice to be asked, and I'm really excited, as you could probably tell. But I'm also kind of nervous because I don't do this public speaking thing, so go easy on me. Anyway, as I was saying, because our tastes very rarely align with one another, he is far more into the underground and the brutal side of things, you know, the ripping corpses, the flesh-eating bacteria, whereas I am a thrasher through and through. I mean, I do love my black metal. I love death metal, especially tech death. I'm going to see Cryptopsy soon, but I'm getting off topic. We do have a little bit of mutual common ground, and on his list I did find one album I'd heard of, so I was impressed with that. And that would be none other than Night, Cult of the Serpent Sun. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, they haven't been kicking around too long, about 5 or 6 years now. I discovered them during the pandemic when they dropped their debut album, Darkness, Silence, Mirror Flame. Yes, trying to make sure I got that in the right order. So yeah, I mean, viscerally, just a really kind of melancholy meets catchy melodies. It's kind of hard to pinpoint where they would fall in today's music, but you can really tell when they cite their influences. Like, imagine Rainbow, actually no, not Rainbow, more Saxon. Imagine Saxon or Diamond Head had a baby with like Viking era Baffery, and that's the love child that is Night. They are really fun. They also go to prove that you don't have to just enter this weird sound war of who can be the loudest in order to stay current and up to date. You know, there are other ways of remaining relevant, but what I like about them is kind of a love story between new and old. Like they perfectly find a middle ground between the nostalgia we so desperately long for and also feeling fresh and up to date and current, and just, yeah, like they found their little sort of niche, and I like that a lot. It almost feels like a thank you letter to sort of Merciful Fate, but they don't just emulate their kind of influences. You know, it's not just another we're bringing back the 80s sort of feel. It's more, I don't know, just bringing their own feel to it whilst also being easily recognizable. Anyway, I haven't even really mentioned the album at all. So Cult of the Serpent Sun I want to say it came out in March, and immediately I was just really, like, I just fell in love with it, because I had listened to Voices, which I think was 2022, and I just felt like there was something lackluster about it. Something fell flat, like it wasn't as punchy, it wasn't as raw, it wasn't as in your face. And this one, they've come back with a vengeance. Like, they have well and truly brought the thunder. I mean, Vangelis Labrakis, I want to say, I'm probably butchering his name. He just has this really nice, kind of raspy, like really deep, gruff voice to him, which I really enjoy because I am a big black metal fan. But also the melodies, like the guitar riffs, the solos, they're so juicy, so vibrant and catchy. Like, it's really hard to kind of put them into one ballpark, because they really do sort of encompass a lot of the things that we love about multiple different spanning genres. So if you have nothing else to occupy yourself with right now, I recommend you go and give them a listen. Personal favourite songs of mine are The Crow and The Mystic. I just love that melancholy, kind of deeply touching songwriting that they bring. Like, and then of course, yeah, Scott Hoffman is just, he's so, I don't know, like his phrasing. Like, I'm a big guitar girl, so I fall in love with it every time, and it sticks with you. And yeah, highly recommend.
Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate you jumping on YouTube and doing something out of your comfort zone for this channel. Next up, we have Jax. You guys know Jax. She's been a supporter of my channel from the beginning as well. So let's see what Jax has to say about this album.
What's up, Jax B the Ripper here. Thanks for having me on here, Lonnie. And I just wanted to talk about Cult of the Serpent Sun by Night. Black and trad metal, if you want to call it, sure. I know a lot of people, and me myself, I noticed when I was listening to this album, I found a lot more than just black and traditional metal. You know, definitely the vocals are like definitely more in the black metal style. Even some a little bit of atmospheric if you want to kind of go there too. But there was definitely a lot of like doom inspiration in here too. You know, a little bit of thrash as well, particularly with Skulls. Skulls, like, not only that, I also felt like the song Skulls, which is track 2, also felt like it was lyrically was more war metal. So it definitely was. And then not only that, there's always correspondences with this band. How is it? Once again, I found something like related to like something like anime related. So with this album, Cult of the Serpents, the song The Last Blade literally had correspondences to Final Fantasy X, the first 10, not 10-2, when they were playing the Blitzkrieg ball tournament in the beginning. Like, if anybody remembers that, I have it in my video, the comparisons and everything. The same thing with like their previous one in 2022, Voices of the Cronian Moon. Literally, the first song correspondences to a Sailor Moon theme song. Not even fucking kidding you. And it's funny, they kind of confirmed one time on my Instagram. They're like, yeah. I was like, okay. But anyways, yeah, love the album Cult of the Serpent Sun. And it's funny because like when he said pick a album, I was just listening to that one. So I was like, I'll do this one. Sure. Thanks to you guys for watching. Salut.
Okay, guys, we are winding down on this list. Kudos if you're still around. I know this has turned into a very long video. Coming in at number 2, we have an album that was within, I'd say, my first couple of minutes of listening to it, I knew I was onto something special. We have the debut full length from Ritual Mass entitled Cascading Misery. This came out through 20 Buck Spin Records. Picked it up on vinyl. It was like an auto buy as soon as I started listening to this on Bandcamp. I'd love to give you a full a full breakdown and just review of this, but I know someone that does this stuff a lot better than I do. He doesn't need an introduction, but let's see what Jammin' John has to say.
What's up, everybody? Jammin' John here from Thralls of Metal. Kind of. I mean, I am from Thralls of Metal, but that's not the point. Our buddy Lonnie, you all know him as Classy Lonnie from Classy Lonnie's Metal on YouTube. Our buddy Lonnie put up a post on Facebook and said, "Hey everybody, would you mind helping me present my year-end list to the masses?" I don't know, I thought that was a pretty cool concept. I've never really thought about doing a collaboration in this way, but I think this is a really good way to not only promote really awesome music, but to help get everybody involved. He even said you don't have to be a YouTuber to make a video, which I again thought was pretty neat. So yeah, of course, Lonnie tagged Necrotic Nick and myself in the post and said, "Hey guys, do you want to do a video?" And we said, sure, why not? So Lonnie sent us his end of year list, and I saw a record on there that was pretty much a no-brainer for me. I gave it a 4.5-star review on our channel when we reviewed it. It was my number 4 album for my end of year list for 2025. I've talked about this record on other various channels. We did an end of year stream with Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. Our buddy Jeff runs that thing. I talked about it on there. You might even hear my cat in the hallway. My cat right now is meowing. He also loved the record. He's heard it a bunch. For those of you that don't know who I am, again, my name is Jamming John. I'm the co-host on a YouTube channel called Thralls of Metal. Myself, along with my cohort Necrotic Nick and our buddy Shredlord, run Thralls of Metal. We do album reviews, discography rankings, discussion forums, interviews, kind of. We kind of suck at interviews. We have people come hang out with us on live streams, which we think is pretty cool. We have a members-only live stream thingy, which is just as dumb as the non-members only live streams. But yeah, we do a ton of stuff at Thralls of Metal. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about Ritual Mass with Cascading Misery. Now again, like I said, this was my number 4 on my year-end list. Number 4 out of 40, so you could tell what I thought about it. Gave it 4.5 stars in the review. I'm telling you what, guys, this record is heavier than shit. I'm talking about, like, heavier than Andre the Giant's ass cheeks at any given moment during his living, breathing career. This is a 20 buck spin release, and outside of 20 buck spins, one turd in the punch bowl. And if you really want to know what that is, head on over to Thralls of Metal and check out Necrotic Nick's worst albums of 2025. It is definitely on there, but all in all, 20 buck spin is a solid label, so I kind of knew what I was getting into before I turned this record on. This is actually Ritual Mass's debut album. 4 dudes from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania got together and said, what is the heaviest fucking thing that we can make possible? And they said, well, I've got a good idea. Let's call the band Ritual Mass. And everybody in the band said, okay. Everything, like I said, on this record is just unrelentingly heavy. The band got together and sat down and said, all right, check out this riff. And everybody in the band went, yeah, it's pretty heavy. And they said, all right, cool. Now we're going to double track these guitars. And everybody in the band went, yeah, I mean, I guess we should do that. And then they said, well, furthermore, beyond this, let's go ahead and layer it. And then everybody in the band went, yeah, let's do that. And then they threw in some harmonies. And then they threw in some atmosphere and some dissonance. And God damn it, here you go. And we're off to the races. And that pretty much is what every track is on this record. From the opening track, Obsidian Mirror, which is pretty much instantaneously evil and dark and nasty sounding, all the way to the last track, Disquiet, which is a 14-minute and 32-second long death doom, almost funeral doom track. And normally I'm against funeral doom, but the way this is executed in this case is done really well. Now, the more I listened to this record personally, the more I thought, I bet they've watched a lot of Thralls reviews where I said I like Chug and Dissonant. It's obvious to me that they made this record for me. I digress. That's probably not the case. They probably have no idea who I am. It doesn't really matter. But this record is full of 2 things that I love, Chug and Dissonance. And it's also disgustingly evil, disgustingly heavy, and packed full of dark, nasty, gnarly tremolos, which I've come to love over the years. Now, it's not to say that this record is all slow, savage, brooding fucking heft. There's also a bunch of really awesome, really speedy, blasty moments in the song Frozen Marrow, which also has some of the probably most entertaining drum turnovers in the whole record. It actually reminds me a lot of Immolation as far as what what they would do with turning a turnover into an actual section of a song. So I thought that was really cool. My personal favorite track on this record is the title track, Cascading Misery, which is absolutely devastating. And you can't see my notes, and you can't see that the word devastating is written in all caps, but it's written in all caps because it's that fucking heavy. Pretty much in a nutshell, if you like bands like Mortiferum, Witch Vomit, Suffocation, or Morbid Angel, and it tickles your fancy to be beat over the head with a slab of granite from a pool table, you might want to check this record out. Again, it made my end of year list. I'm pretty sure it made Necrotic Nick's end of year list. It made Lonnie's end of year list, you guys. It made a lot of people's end of year list. This record is absolutely savage. It's produced by Greg Wilkinson of Autopsy, and if you know what Greg is capable of as far as his producing capabilities are concerned, then you know that this record sounds absolutely gnarly and about as big and as savage as it gets. Dude, the guitars on this record have a mean crunch to them. They're beefy, they're hefty, they've got a great chug to them. The bass is mixed in perfectly. Greg's a bass player, so why wouldn't the bass sound awesome? The snare drums on this record sound like fucking shotguns going off. And I tell you what, when this band gets to those big brutal chugs, it's like channeling the name of Terrence Hobbs through a record. He's not on the record, but it's that fucking heavy. This record, in its 40-minute and 32-second runtime, albeit there are only 6 songs, this record is absolutely fucking savage. And I recommend you check it out. And I know for a fact that Lonnie recommends you check it out. But yeah, awesome record. I appreciate the chance to do this. This is really awesome. Again, what a way to collaborate. You guys, please do yourselves a favor and stick around and check out all the other submissions on this video. If you feel like it, head on over to Thralls of Metal, check out what we've got going on. Subscribe if you wish, become a member if you wish. It's not a big deal, but please, you guys, give Lonnie some love. Once again, Lonnie, thank you for letting us be here. I'm not going to go through my normal spiel with my channel. Just pretty much, you guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves. I will definitely see you later.
Okay, we made it. We are at the #1 album of the year as per Classy Lonnie Metal. First off, before I get into this album, I just want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone watching this video. I have been on YouTube for right at a decade now, and I never expected this platform to be such a big part of my life. It has opened doors that I never thought would be opened. I've met people, some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. This channel has done more for me personally than I ever thought imaginable, and that is just crazy to me. It was just a silly little hobby that I started up probably 10 and a half years ago now. I don't know. It's been a long time. As an effort to stay sober, to keep myself busy, so I wasn't thinking about alcohol. I was showing my love for music. I needed a hobby, and here we are. 10 years later, you guys are still watching me, and I am just blown away by that. I'm also eternally grateful for everyone that took time to make a video, cameo video, and join in on this. Had a lot of fun putting this together. I apologize, I am not an editor. So if this comes off very amateurish as far as the transitions and everything on this video, the volume changes, all that stuff, I do apologize, but you guys watch my channel, you know I don't edit, so this was a huge undertaking for me. I've probably been working on getting this all together for about 3 or 4 days now, so you guys have no idea what I've had to put in and the mental strain that this has put on an old man like me. But that's enough of that. 2 things I love in this life is a big old hot bowl of noodles and some killer blackened death metal, and we've got both here. We've got the ramen soup hoodie on, and we have my album of the year. This is Prophetic Suffering with Rivalry of Thyself, released back in May through Sentient Ruin Laboratories. This is a band out of Canada, brutal death metal / blackened death metal. It's kind of black and brutal death metal, which is not something that you typically see in the brutal side of things. The transition of musical styles in this, I know I've brought that up before in albums. It's something that I like when a band is able to flawlessly transition between different styles within tracks, within albums. Just the structures of the albums and the transitions is something that always sticks out to me in releases like this, and this was no different. It is their debut full length. They had an EP that came out a little bit before. I could try to look at Metal Archives or something and tell you guys, but I'm not a reviewer. I'm just telling you. I'm trying to sell you on this album. Very short. It's about a 26-minute release. I guess it could have been listed as an EP, but they listed as a full length, and if they're going full length, I'm saying it's a full length, and it is my favorite full length of 2025. The track, there is a track on here, Empire of Filth. I was talking about the transitions and the different kind of musical styles, heavy, extreme musical styles, and the transitions, and the just the song structure on Empire of Filth definitely highlights what I'm talking about on this album. It is the longest track on the release, but in that track they're able to experiment a little bit, play with their sound, and I absolutely love that particular track. The title track, Rivalry of Thyself, is very good, and I also Empire Filth and Refuge and Liberations, I believe, is the other track that I definitely, if you want to get into this and you want to try it out, definitely check those out. This is Prophetic Suffering, this is Rivalry of Thyself, and this is Classy Metal's favorite album of 2025. So once again, thank all of you. I love you guys, and I will see you all soon. I promise.